It has now been a month since the summer 2021 anime season has ended. It took me a while to kind of get through a lot of these anime because, to be honest, summer 2021 was way less exciting to me than the first two seasons of 2021. I also thought 2020, despite the craziness that went on that year, I thought that the anime from that year was also really good. So it was kind of depressing to get to summer 2021 and not really have a lot of standouts, at least to me. I know that a lot of people really did like a lot of anime from the season, but I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. So it took me a long time to get through it. I still want to talk about my top 5 favorite shows from the summer season, but none of them are particularly even going to probably break my top like 50 anime of all time. Usually there's at least one or two, like last season was so good, between Odd Taxi and Super Cub just in the spring season. Summer slowed down for me a lot, but I will still tell you guys what my top 5s were. Just to remind you guys, I won't be putting anime on here that is not finished, like at least doesn't have a single season finished. I don't want to just rate half a season, so as long as the anime has like a season 1 that's completely done, then I can mention it. My honorable mention might not clear those guidelines, but it is none other than Shaman King. This might come as a surprise to you because I was so hyped for Shaman King going into 2021. I talked about it a lot. I watched the show on Foxbox when it came out. I read the manga in high school. I actually never finished the manga, so I told myself I wanted to read the manga and then watch the remake anime as it came out. And so far, I'm really enjoying the remake of the anime. The only thing was, it was in Netflix jail for so long, and I specifically wanted to watch the dub of it because of nostalgia reasons. So I'm putting it on honorable mention, knowing that, yeah, it is out. I'm still watching through it. I want to read through the manga. I'm just trying to take it really slow. This is an anime that I wanted to get a remake for so long, and I was so hyped when in Japan I saw merchandise coming out that was Shaman King, and I had predicted that we would finally get a remake. So many people told me it was not going to happen, and then it did happen, so here we are. I've personally been really happy with it so far, but I am just going to put it in this honorable mention slot until I can get through it. But I did want to let you guys know that, yeah, it's out and I really love it. All right, so moving on to the main part of the list, starting with number 5. I actually have to read this because it is a very long name. The Japanese name is Chito Kusushi no Solo Life Isekai ni Tsukuro Drugstore, which in English is just Drugstore in Another World, the slow life of a cheat pharmacist. These long names are always gonna get me. This is definitely not the most exciting anime of the season, but if you know me, I really love my no bioris, I love my Yuru camps, I love my relaxing anime, my slice of life anime. Shonen anime Twitter tears anime like this apart. I don't care. The show is basically about a dude who gets isekai'd into another world and realizes he is really good at like pharmaceutical science. Is that how you say that? Pharmaceutical science? It sounds like I'm trying to be smart. I'm really not. He is good at being a pharmacist. It's a really cute world with a lot of really cute characters. He has 2 girl assistants with him in his pharmacy, and he basically just tries to fix the world's problems with his different medicines. And he's such a good guy. Like, he honestly reminds me of last year, I think, is when Monster Girl Doctor aired. Glenn, I think, was that character's name. He reminds me a lot of that character. Like, he's just there to genuinely help people. He doesn't have any kind of underlying reasons why he wants to help people. He's genuinely a good character. But as the title may suggest, as it says slow life, it is a slow show. It's not meant to be the most action-packed thing you've seen. It is a slice of life show about what it would be like to be a pharmacist in another world. The show was just really nice and relaxing to watch after watching some of the other crazy insane shows this season that we'll get to later. Really loved the color palette, really loved the comedy of this show. I can't say that it would break into my top 50, but it was just nice to kind of sit and relax and almost halfway watch it. Slice of life is even more engaging if you know Japanese, and that's not me trying to like school on anyone. My Japanese is really not that good, but it is more enjoyable to kind of sit back and relax to the maybe slower pace of the talking, and you can just listen to the Japanese and maybe understand it a little bit more. And because you're not super engaged into this complicated story with all of these things happening, I love these shows because I can concentrate on language more, so that's just a me thing personally. I would not really recommend it to anyone though who is not into those Eurocamps and Nononburi type shows. Number 4 this season does not come at a surprise at all. It is Love Live Superstars. I always have these shifting moods about Love Live. Like sometimes I'll go to a convention or I'll go to an anime shop and I'll be so tired of seeing it everywhere, but at the end of the day, Love Live always has me crawling back to it. What can I say? I've loved every installment of Love Live since the very beginning, and every time you jump into Love Live, you know exactly what you're getting, and there's something so comforting about that. This particular Love Live takes place in the Harajuku area of Tokyo, which is really cool to see. I love it when Love Live kind of bases their characters and their dances and things that happen in the show around a certain area of Tokyo or a certain area of Japan. That's really cool to me. I love that the main character Conan is actually very scared of singing in front of people and she has to fight that fear. I don't really think that's something that we've dealt with in a main character for Love Live. Like usually all the main girls, or at least the very main girl, like Honoka for example, is really excited to get out there and sing. So it was really cool to kind of see a character who had to overcome like an intense fear of getting up in front of people and singing, and you know, she is your main girl. I really just loved all the characters here as well, and let me tell you, it's really nice to only keep up with 5 girls versus like I think 9 girls at all the other seasons. I was really upset that we didn't get a confirmation for the second season of Nijigasaki before we got the confirmation for Love Live Superstar, so I was really worried, like I really want to watch and finish Love Live Nijigasaki before I move on to anything else Love Live. So it's a little bit weird that I watched, you know, or all of us have watched half of Love Live Nijigasaki and then move on to these new girls. I just felt like I was being forced to watch these new girls without finishing Nijigasaki, which I really love those girls too. But I think it ended up being fine, especially because there was not as many girls to keep up with, which is really nice. The dances and the songs, they just keep improving, I think, with every installment of Love Live. So yeah, just one of those shows that I jumped into knowing exactly what I was getting, and I got it. Number 3, oh my goodness. Number 3 is Bokutachi no Remake, or Remake Our Life. We have seen anime where the main character maybe has a regret in his past life, or is in his like late 20s or early 30s, and his life is not working out for him, and he wishes he could go back and change something. We've seen these shows before, and Remake Our Life is no different, except for the fact that it does take place in college. A lot of these shows tend to take place in high school, and I really love when anime decides to have a setting in college rather than high school. I just feel like I relate more to college-aged characters. A lot of high school tends to just be like this lovey-dovey thing where maybe the problems aren't as relatable, I guess, as characters who are in college, characters who are fully adults. Not only does our main character go back in time to college, he goes back to art school, basically an art university in Osaka, where he lives in a share house with some girls and a guy, and they work together to make these art and film projects. I also love that aspect of it. You know, if you've been to art school or anything similar, theater, cinematography school, you know how competitive it is, how hard it is. So I do love the theme surrounding that. The show honestly does not do things a lot differently than I would have expected it to do. Nothing really came as a major shock to me in this. I do love all the characters, including the main character, so it wasn't an issue of me not liking the characters. I just don't see myself, even though I watched this whole season, I don't see myself moving on to the manga to care what happens next. It's possible that we could get a second season with this show. A lot of people are hoping for that, but it could just be a situation where the show is just an advertisement for the manga, as we see with a lot of anime that comes out. It's good. It's definitely one I binged, and I enjoyed seeing the characters create these projects. They create a game, they create like a commercial or a film or something, and that's a really cool part about it. It's a really realistic take, too, on the entertainment industry. But I don't know if I was just hooked enough really yet. I think I could take it or leave it. Like if there's not gonna be a second season, I'll be fine. If I don't continue the manga, I don't really care. But it was still definitely worth the watch. Number 2. Oh my god, number 2, it's another one of those embarrassing to admit ones. Kanojo, also known as girlfriend. It is not new that there's basically a genre for cringe in anime these days. I mean, there has been for a long time. Anime is cringe. It's been cringe for a long time. There's like, even like 80s, 90s anime, cringy stuff would happen, right? But it just seems even more obvious since 2020 that these cringy type romantic comedies have been coming out. Like, I think of Rent a Girlfriend from last year, and Girlfriend feels very similar to that comedy style. This like ridiculous, almost embarrassing, like train wreck watching style of comedy. The main character, Naoya, gets a girlfriend who is his childhood friend. Then, shortly after, gets confessed to from another really cute girl, and he thinks both girls are great, he thinks they're both cute, so he asks them if he can date them both at the same time, which of course shocks the girls, but they end up trying their best at this. And oh, none of us could have expected them to live together. I have not seen that in anime before, ever in my life. It is cringy, let me tell you, but I just couldn't stop watching it. To be honest, the comedy actually is really good. Like, I feel like it's gone places where maybe other anime hasn't yet, and I enjoyed it enough to put it at number 2. I had so many laughs, so many cringe moments. I just think I'm into that. I guess I'm just into those anime now. Like, Rent a Girlfriend really just sold me on these types of anime, I guess. Number 1. This is very different than past number 1s I have mentioned in these videos, because this number 1 probably won't even break into my top 30 anime. It could break into my top 50 anime depending on how the rest of it goes. Only season 1 aired. Number 1 is Fumetsu no Anata e, or To Your Eternity Now. This anime did air mostly back in spring season, but it's a 20 episode long season 1. So the last few episodes did air in summer, plus I decided to watch the dub of it, so the dub came out a lot slower. It is one that I started watching in spring but didn't want to talk about until now when it was all out, or at least all of season 1 is out. This anime did not really take me by surprise that much. Any Twitter was tweeting about this show every single day. Everyone was saying, oh god, it's so sad, like every episode breaks my heart. And they're right. The show is really hard to explain. Basically, you have God. He creates this orb. This orb can take the form of something that has died. For example, one of the first things this orb takes the form of is a dead, like, Arctic wolf. He becomes the wolf, and eventually he morphs into these other things, and he becomes human, and he has to learn, this orb, this thing has to learn how to become human and what it means to be human. However, this orb, this thing, this being is immortal. So even though it is taking human form, it is an immortal human, and it kind of has to learn how to deal with other humans not being immortal, but him himself being immortal, and how to move on from the fact that he is human but also not human. It has to learn how to do human things like talk and show emotion and eat properly, but the side of it that is immortal will never be able to truly understand death. I know that that sounds super deep when I'm just trying to explain it to you, but it really is something you have to watch. I think I got hooked in immediately. First episode, if not the first half of the first episode, it'll hook you there. That is a really good thing it has going for it. Perona as a character, I think, is probably my favorite character of this season for sure. Her voice actor, by the way, did an amazing job on the character. This is a lot more actiony than all the other shows that I watched this season. Beware that there is a lot of blood and gore and violence in these type of shows. I think it's a little bit similar to the type of violence and gore that you would see in Golden Kamuy, for example, if I had to relate it to something. But yeah, definitely the most action-packed show of the season. I'm not sure if it's quite shonen. There is a manga that's still going. And there will be a second season next year, which I'm really looking forward to. I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence with this show. Like, I could also take it or leave it, I feel. It definitely wouldn't break my top 50 anime, I think. But as far as this season not being that great, in my opinion, this one easily took number 1. Guys, let me know what anime you watched in the summer season, what anime you're watching now in the fall season. Fall looks way better so far. It's looking pretty packed. I haven't really watched a lot of stuff yet. I had to get through some of the stuff I missed in summer. Let me know if you've seen any of these shows that I have mentioned. I know I didn't go into terrible detail, but I just don't feel very passionate about any of these, but I did want to get the video out. I did want to be like, these are the top 5 that were like here. Can't really recommend any of them except for To Your Eternity. I think I could recommend To Your Eternity to almost anyone, but any of the other ones I think are fairly niche. Hey guys, if you enjoy anime videos like this, please leave me a like, leave me a comment if you want to see more of me talk about anime opinions. Eventually I'd love to do videos about what manga I would love to see adapted into anime that I believe deserve remakes or season 2s. I have so many things to say on different anime, so if you would like more videos like that, then please let me know. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in a future video. Bye!